Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
A Palestinian journalist was hiding Israeli hostages at his home for Hamas, Israel has said, before they were rescued in an IDF raid on Saturday. The Israeli army said that Abdullah al-Jamal was keeping Al-Magmayer Jan, 22, Andrei Kozlov, 27, and Shlomi Ziv, 41, at his family home in Gaza. IDF commandos stormed the building on Saturday by ladder, freeing the hostages, while killing Abdullah, his father, Dr. Ahmed, and his wife Fatima in the process. His daughter and other family members are also reported to have been injured. The IDF went on to accuse Abdullah of holding the hostages in his home along with his family members, and said it was further proof that the Hamas terror group was using Gaza's civilian population as human shields. Abdullah wrote for Palestine Chronicle, a US-based non-profit news website, as a freelancer, and once contributed to an op-ed in 2019 published by Al Jazeera, the Qatar-based news network which has been temporarily banned in Israel. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, the IDF addressed Al Jazeera and asked, "What's this terrorist doing on your website?" Abdullah's home held hostages, along with his family members, the IDF said, adding, "This is further proof that the terrorist organization Hamas uses the civilian population as a human shield." Abdullah had written a number of articles since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7, killing 1,200 people in Israel and taking 250 people back into Gaza as hostages. Article written by Abdullah and published on the Palestine Chronicle had titles included "Resistance Our Only Option," "Palestinians React to News of Israeli Soldiers Captured in Jabalia," 31 Martyrs in a Single Israeli Strike, "Voices from the Gaza Genocide," and "Testimonies from Camp 2 Massacre in Nuseirat." However, the IDF's claims have been questioned by some on social media. Mohammed Shahada, the chief of comms for Euromed Monitor, a Geneva-based rights organization, said Abdullah lived in a multi-story building, and that he lived in one of 7 homes raided by the IDF. Hostages were found in 2 of those, he said. He also pointed out that Israel's official X account had previously said that Noah Argamani, 26, the 4th Israeli hostage rescued in the raids, was being held in the journalist's house, before this was later changed to say it was in fact the 3 men. Al Jazeera, meanwhile, denied that it employed Abdullah, pointing out that he contributed to the one op-ed in 2019, and accused Israel of slander and misinformation. Al Jazeera Media Network confirms that Abdullah al-Jamal has never worked with the network, but had contributed to an op-ed in 2019 and that these allegations are completely unfounded, Al Jazeera wrote on X. It added, "The network also stresses that these allegations are a continuation of the process of slander and misinformation aimed at harming Al Jazeera's reputation, professionalism, and independence. It calls for accuracy before publishing any of these allegations, the repetition of which has become ridiculous." Al Jazeera Media Network reserves all its legal rights to refute all these allegations. A biography on Al Jazeera's website for Abdullah describes him as a Gaza-based reporter and photojournalist. He often reports from the ongoing March of Return protests at the fence separating besieged Gaza from Israel. The Palestine Chronicle ran a news story on Abdullah's death, saying he had been murdered in the IDF's Gaza raid. It described him as a freelancer who contributed to the platform. Abdullah al-Jamal's reports have focused entirely on the humanitarian situation in Gaza, especially in the central part of the Strip, starting shortly after the war, the Palestine Chronicle said in a statement published in its article. His contributions became frequent when Israel deliberately began killing journalists, making it nearly impossible for the Palestinian voice to break away from the Gaza siege, the statement added. Euromed Monitor released details on a preliminary investigation into the raid. In a preliminary investigation into the field executions by the Israeli army at the Nuseirat refugee camp yesterday, a Euromed HR stated that soldiers used a ladder to break through the residence of Dr. Ahmed al-Jamal, group said. Upon encountering 36-year-old Fatima al-Jamal on the staircase, they immediately shot her dead. The troops then stormed the house,